Hey, Ronnie, next, we want to know, no matter how good of an idea and how obvious this idea seems, somebody did it first, the billboards. Yes, I'm going to fluff my hair up. I'm going to pass that picture around to all of you guys. But anyways, so we are wondering that before you and your wife founded Ronnie and Kathy Matthews' team 30 years ago, real estate teams really weren't an idea. They didn't exist. Now everyone knows of real estate teams. A lot of us are on real estate teams. How did your idea of starting a team formulate?
Yeah, I think really we didn't think about a team at the time. Teams didn't exist. Kathy and I started in real estate at the same time, so immediately there was two of us, and that was unusual too. A lot of wives. It was more wives, more women than guys, and of course it still is. But as far as, so we started together at the same time, and we weren't looking to build a team. We didn't know what a team was. We were looking to build a business, and that's what it really is. You're building a business. You're in business for yourself, and you have to understand that. And so, and we never had a set number of people that we were looking to build either. It was the two of us, and when we needed help, we hired somebody for a specific duty that we either A, didn't want to do or couldn't do. And then as that grew and we needed someone else to handle something else, then we hired the next person. And as we grew, and then when I actually sold the company, we had 21 people, counting Kathy and I. So 19 employees, and we were structured different too. We had employees. So again, me thinking business, not team. And over the years, I've got, and there's a few of my folks here from those days tonight, and you know, we had people that were 30 years working for me, and it's, and later on there's a few other questions come up, but really when you're building a business, suddenly your customer is your employees. The person you have to take care of is your employees, and then they take care of the customer. So you know, you just have to have that mindset. Over the years, and I'll cut it short, but as far as, I had someone that talked to me that said, I can't keep a buyer's agent. I'm always hiring a buyer's agent and I can't keep one. And I said, well, you know, tell me what business you get. If you get a call and you've got $1 million buyer, are you going to give that to your buyer's agent? Oh no, I'm going to work that. Well, what do you give your buyer's agent? Well, the things I don't want to work. So why would a buyer's agent stay with that person? And that's what we have to think about. When you add someone to your team or you add an employee, you got to help them make a living. You're now responsible for them and taking care of them and supporting them and giving them a good path. So.
Okay, Ronnie, that was probably a phone call from one of your many businesses that you have started. But speaking of that, you are one of the few agents that have created more income and wealth during your time in real estate. And that hasn't 100% been through just being a real estate agent. You've had, you know, different ancillary businesses. At what point in your career did you decide to do additional things? And if you were speaking to other agents in here that were wanting to take their brand beyond just being a real estate agent, what advice would you give?
That's a lot of questions. Don't know if I can remember all of them. So, you know, one, I want to expand on Nimesh a little bit. When I've talked with people over the years, it was always, you know, what's the secret? Well, the secret is get up and go to work. And, you know, I had a meeting last night, and a couple other people in the room were there too, and got home after 11:30, and this morning I was at the office at 6 because I had things to do before I got here. And that's just my life. Now, the good news is I love it. That's what I like to do. I like to work. My favorite thing is making money, which kind of leads back to the question as far as there. You know, I've always just been driven to do more. It's not a matter of why. As I talked about team, I didn't wake up to create a team or create something new. When I got into real estate was going good. Then how can I make my money work for me? How can I do something else? Real estate has been very kind to me, but it allowed me then to take money and invest in something else. And with a partner, I started developing subdivisions. We developed about 25 subdivisions. We have about 1,000 acres of land now that we're under development. And then, you know, that was running pretty smooth. And I'm pretty good at getting other people to do my work for me, and I take credit for it too. So my development partner, who, by the way, that's who just called me, he, you know, I was busy in real estate, so by nature of it, I was initially more of the money and he was more of the work. Now we're even on money, but he still does all the work. I mean, that's a perfect scenario, which is exactly what I did with our business and our team. We had a great team, but the last 5 years before I sold the real estate company, I literally, and we were the number one team in Texas all those years, I didn't talk to a customer. I didn't go to a listing. I managed the money. But that's building a business, building a business. So development business is running good, and I don't know, a friend of mine retired from the title business in 2006. He said, you should start a title company. It's like, okay, why not? And I did. But when I start something, I don't want to reach into somebody else's money and take money out of them. There's a lot of ABA deals, and there's all of these deals, which personally, I hate it when people talk to me about it, because what we're saying then is, well, because I've got this business, I don't want to do any work, but I'm going to direct it to you, and I get some of your money somehow. And I'm sure there's some in this room, and that's great. That's powerful. There's nothing wrong with it. How could I go to my closer that I've been working with all these years and suddenly say, you're going to make 30 or 40% less because I'm going to take that money? So when I started a title company, it was a real title company. And I worked at it. The first few years I lost quite a bit of money. And then it started snowballing. Actually in 2008, 9, and 10, which was the recession, well, big companies were laying off employees. I was able to hire some really, really good employees. And then we built and grew from there. And when I sold the company 2.5 years ago, we were the number 3 largest title company in Houston. Now, March 1st, I retire from that. And I don't know what's coming next, but there will be something. So we'll see.
So we don't know what's in 2024 yet? No.
There's things coming, though.
Oh, woo! Ah. Okay. Ronnie, this question was not typed by me. So I hope this is not offensive and make you sound old, because you guys are not. Y'all are still kicking. We have 2024 to do something else. Yeah? So anyways, the question was, you have had enormous success, and you've grown one of the basically most productive real estate teams in the history of Texas. You have been in development. You've sold title companies that has had 15 locations. And if that's not impressive enough, they want to know, why do you stay active in real estate?
I love real estate, first off. And I love being around people. I love seeing people. And of course, I'm a social media king. Really, I think I was on 2.5 hours a year. And if they hadn't have killed my BlackBerry 2 years ago, I'd still be on the BlackBerry. So I think partly to play off of that is, people can't call you if they don't know you. Most of my career was built in a time before social media. So we had great ability to spread our information, spread our name. But thankfully, as I was stepping back, that's when social media was growing. So this face is not built for social media. So, but short backstory, I grew up with nothing. My parents never owned a home. I bought my mom her first house. I dropped out of high school. So the reason I'm telling you that is, no matter what, you can be successful if you work harder. I'm not the smartest. Nimesh is the smartest. So, but it's about working and doing it consistently, as both of these guys have said, getting up every day and doing it, planning ahead. You can't wake up this morning and say, what am I going to do today? My calendar's booked for the next 3 weeks, solid. And so if somebody calls me and says, I want to get together, well, then, okay, maybe it has to be at 6 p.m. in the evening. Maybe it has to be at 6 a.m. in the morning. But there's a plan there. What I do next, and I do have ideas of what's coming next, and it will be real estate related, because that's what I know, that's what I do. I don't like the stock market. I don't like any of those types of things. I like to be able to go out and see what I own, and then I know what to do, whether it's land, whether it's a building, whether it's whatever. I have several other companies I've invested in over the year that are doing really, really well, but they're all real estate related. Every time I do something that works, it's real estate. Every time I do something that fails, it's not real estate.
All right. Okay, this question's for Nimish, but I feel like I kind of want all of y'all to answer it, and Nimish, you can kick it off. What are your thoughts on the current real estate market that we're in, and what are your predictions for 2024? And I'm going to add my little spin to this question. If you were a new agent or a young, not a legend agent in the market that we're in, we all might be a little bit slower than normal. What would you recommend we do? I am encouraging my team. They hear me hounding them every day. Yes, post on social media, but that's not the only answer. Pick up your phone. Call people. That's what I'm telling them to do. But I think a lot of us are wondering what y'all would do. And if your answer is the same as mine, what would you say on the phone? I would love to hear from all of y'all.
Ooh. I think a lot of this starts with educating yourself, right? You don't want to get caught up in here's what this media station said, and this is what this media station said, et cetera. You need to know. I mean, the whole point of us being real estate agents is that we're supposed to be the local experts, right? You guys know that. Our license, to have a license means you have to be a local expert in your area. To be the local expert, you need to educate yourselves on what's going on with not just the local market, but then overall market and how it's going to affect your local market. So the more you educate yourself, the better. I'm going to give you guys the simplest, easiest tip first and foremost to educate yourself. We're all, for the most part of HAR. HAR gives you a free subscription to Inman, okay? Inman has articles for days and days and days and days, but there are some good ones in there. And you're going to formulate your own idea after you read 3 different articles about what's going on with the mortgage business, right? They might have 3 different things. I heard somebody earlier talking about the mortgage business, but then yesterday I read something that says it's not going to come down anytime soon. Now we're looking at 2025 because of the 2 wars that we're in and the election coming up. But you have to have conversations like that with your clients to be able to educate them. They're not going to just sit there and say, I think Lance said he didn't like real estate professionals because we weren't really professional back then. We were really just salespeople. Well, that's going to come across. It is going to come across when you're talking to somebody. So instead of actually trying to force them to buy a house, sell a house, rent a house, lease a house, you should be educating them. And as you give them all their options, you educate them, then they're going to make their decision. You're never going to force anyone to do anything. But then they're going to use you because you didn't force them into something. You educated them the proper way, and that's what part of the social media part that I'm talking about. Show that you're the expert out there. But as far as newbie agents, I'll tell you, if you're brand new or less than a year or 2 in the business, and I'm not counting the last 2 to 3 years, okay? Anybody can just show up and write their name on a contract. That's what happened in the last 2 to 3 years. Don't think that you're like a great agent because of that. Everybody was doing that. But if you're a newbie agent, what I would do, number one thing I would do is I would latch on. I would latch on to a mentor or a team, okay? I don't care about splits. I don't care about numbers and how much Lance is taking or how much Ronnie's taking or Nimesh is taking from you. Don't look at it like that. Look at it as how many opportunities are they going to put you in front of, right? So that's the number one thing I would do. If you're trying to do it on your own and you're sitting there like comparing numbers and okay, well this split's better or this firm is better, you're not doing it for the right reasons then, okay? You need to figure out how to learn every single day, and the only way you can do that is to be, Laura, you're talking about your team. You're sitting there educating your team. Well, most agents don't have that. They don't have that. They don't have it from their brokers. They don't have it from their team leaders as much. So find that environment for you. And then the last thing I'll say before I hand it off is back to the patients. I think we were going to be fine, okay? Not that I think we're going to be fine. I know we're going to be fine, but that's only if you want to put in the work. I was talking to, some of you guys know Michelle Posey. She's with EXP. She's on the HER boards and stuff. And she gave me some numbers yesterday. I was asking for it. Last year, you guys know how many real estate agents, not memberships, but how many real estate agents were part of HAR? Any guess?
38,000.
50,000. 50,000 last year. You know how many there are today? 42,195. So 8,000 agents have already dropped out of the business so far this year. 8,000. And that number is going to keep going. It's going to keep going. Don't be one of those. Don't be one of those, okay?
I think the market's terrible and you should stay home, give up, turn on the TV and listen to the geniuses on TV about how terrible the world is and how terrible the market is and how terrible we all are. that's an easy thing to do as far as realistically. I never turn on the TV. I can't stand it. I read a lot. That's where I get my news, because then I get more of the information and I can decide how I believe it and how it fits in with my reality. People have to know you first off. So if you're in real estate, every single person you know or run into should know that you're in real estate, which means you also have to be professional, act professional. That's why I would never put my name on my license plate, because I don't want them knowing that was me.
Your car is parked outside the bar till 4 a.m.
No, it's not that. But I might, in the old days, I might be the one that cut you off, ran over, honked at you, whatever. Now, in the title business, of course, we had absolutely record years through all of COVID and the refinances and all of those things. And then the market starts dropping. And at one time, we had 8% of the market. So 8% of the homes that closed in Houston, Texas, closed at Great American Title Company. That was great. I wanted 10, but it was great. 8% was great. Now it's 6.5. And, people talk about, well, business is off. And I say, look, we got 6.5% of the business. There's 93% more out there that we need to go take away. I mean, that's the way you have to look at it. That's my business. It's not yours. It's not the other title companies. That's my business. I want all of the business, and that's just the way I've been driven. So if you're satisfied not doing very much, well, then you're not going to do very much. If you're driven to do more, regardless of, when I got in real estate in 1988, which was the real Great Recession, not 2008, 9, and 10, which was a blip. This is nothing. We sold 52 homes our first year. The average sales price, $50,000. $50,000. Average commission, $1,500. Times 51 is about $78,000. How in the heck did you live on it? Things were cheaper then. But I think it starts right here and right here. If you think it's bad, then it's bad. If you've got a positive attitude and get your butt up and go to work, it'll be okay and you'll be fine.
We had our annual planning advance last week, and doing research and stuff, I had a song that popped in, and it said, "Tough times don't last, tough people do." And I've taken that motto. Do you know that there was 6,883 single-family homes sold last month? Tell me the market's bad. Like, at the end of the day, everybody in this room could do 3 to 5 transactions easily and still not hit 6,000. That's just September. And so you look at that and take your unfair share. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, I don't like people, but I know that I have to lead generate. So tennis was a passion of mine. Now it's pickleball. Play about 4 to 5 days a week. But I have the Loken group everywhere that I have. Like, here's on the koozie. I wear t-shirts that have the Loken group on it. I don't have to talk to anybody, but they all know I'm in real estate, like Ronnie said. That's my method of lead generating. And you have to do that 2 to 3 hours every single day. It's not the most fun thing to do, but you have to be consistent. Be consistent with boredom.
That's great. All right. I've heard a lot of themes of consistency up here. Carrie, do I have time for one more question? No? Okay. Well, y'all, this was amazing. I took a lot away from you guys. I am going to get all 3 of your cell phone numbers now that you've offered for me to call y'all with questions. But I hope y'all got a lot from this. I certainly did. It was at least just an encouragement to me to just keep pushing on, being consistent. I feel like we all fail at that, that it's hard to be consistent. So thank you guys for sharing just your journeys and your success and any wisdom that you guys shared. I know a lot of us will take, and we're going to be up here legends one day. I know we will.